Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Today is an extremely exciting day for me because I just got my YouTube silver play button, and I'm really freaking happy about it, man. I'm really excited. I didn't think I would be so excited about it, but whoa, I am happy. I'm gonna try include a little video of it, of me unpackaging it, later, all right? Later throughout the day. I'm gonna try get that done, so don't worry about it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these daily crypto videos though, and if you haven't yet, make sure you press the subscribe button. Woo! 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 And I was also listening to this song, man, to just get me in the vibes. I've been feeling good. So, starting it off, Flare Networks, which a lot of you guys have been talking about, is obviously something which is going to be built on top of the XRP ledger. They have actually just made some pretty big announcements regarding NFTs, as they have most likely ran a little bit of a promotional campaign. I'm not exactly sure if or how these parties are connected, but there's this thing which is called 888TNW. Maybe it's sponsored, maybe it's not, I don't really know, at least not for me. And it's basically Flare just getting really excited about it because you can now get NFTs on the XRP ledger, or at least on Flare as of this point. How everything is connected and how everything's going to turn around, let's wait and let's see, because Flare is not completely live just quite yet. You actually have till June 12th to claim your FLR. And as I've just told you as well a couple of days ago, I still haven't claimed my FLR from a Ledger Nano X because I've been too lazy, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. And if you haven't done it yet, just check out the guides on it on the internet. It's everywhere. How it works is if you had XRP before December 12th, if it wasn't an exchange, you're going to automatically get it, except for Binance US. You have to file for some stuff. And if it was on your Ledger Nano X, you had to, or S, whatever, which one, you had to do some manual steps, which you had 6 months for, and I still haven't done it because I am extremely lazy. Having said that though, Elon Musk tweets about Doge's Shiba Inu again. Here's what he shows this time. Tesla CEO has dumped another tweet about the Doge meme dog. I'm not exactly sure, it's just Doge mostly, it's not necessarily Shiba, or maybe I'm just missing it. Then again, it's always this same dog, right? So I guess, yeah, you can definitely twist this the way you want to do it. People just got really excited over this though, because Elon just keeps pushing it out. Now that Coinbase has listed it, and now that Bybit, for example, has also listed it. There's a lot of activity on Doge right now, which is also why the coin did so extremely well. I had one more article about that, but I guess I dropped it somewhere. Let's actually quickly continue on the same note. This article is from a couple of months ago. Holders of XRP will get second airdrop from Flare. There's actually one more thing you must know. FLR is going to come out in a couple of days, couple of weeks from now. If it's out 1 month from then, there's actually more free money to be given away. All the FLR obviously is going to be 15% of your XRP at the start, which basically is a 1-to-1 ratio, but then only 15% of it, and then 2 to 4% every single month. After 1 month, you're going to get some DFLR2, which is just another airdrop for, or in proportion to how much Flare you have. Okay, having said that, let's move on. Let me quickly accept this. We can't read. Okay. Sign up for 5 more free articles. Well, it was basically a petition from Shiba Inu holders to get Shiba on Robinhood, which I think was pretty interesting. It's extremely popular though. A lot of people have participated. A lot of people are excited about it, and that makes me really think about one more thing, which is, guys, never ever underestimate the power of memes. Never underestimate the power of just jokes and giggles. Doge, Shiba, all those coins are jokes and giggles for a very good part. However, they can do so extremely well. They can make people so much money. They can lose people so much money. It's a big thing. It's not a joke anymore. Even though it's about jokes, it's not a joke itself. And with Shiba as well, I've told you guys before, I think it's not necessarily a bad idea to actually hold it or maybe even buy some, purely because there's a huge potential for it to go up. If Doge goes up, Shiba usually follows along a little bit, and there's so much hype, so much community. Do I think it could go to a cent or so? I mean, personally, I don't really think those high levels are going to happen. Then again, is it worthy of a test? Well, potentially so. Is it a good coin? Definitely not. Definitely not solid. Definitely not good. Is it worth the risk? In my opinion, yes, for a really little bit of money, like a little bit of pocket change I put into it, and I'm still holding that throughout the end. Because what if it gets big, right? What if? Same thing for Doge. What if? I had I had thousands of Doge, purely because it was like maybe let's say $100 or so. Right now, it's a lot of money. Analyst warns of potential Bitcoin death cross and dump to 18,000. I don't have to cover this one too far, except for the fact that, well, there's always going to be people who are going to be shouting both sides. So if you're worried about one analyst claiming something, you're definitely playing the wrong game. If you're worried about anybody ever telling you that crypto is going to go down, you're playing the wrong game. Because, for example, when Bitcoin crossed below the 21 weekly EMA a couple of days ago, like last week, the end of last week, you know how many people went completely berserk and insane because of it? How scary and how bad that was going to be? But look at what crypto is right now. We haven't recovered, but we haven't crashed to the bottom like the many people were saying. Same thing for Bitcoin making a lower low. It isn't necessarily over. I mean, almost any one of those guys will tell you as well that it's possible for Bitcoin to go back up. There is no science behind all of this. It's not a fact thing. It's like I look at it this way and I think this is going to happen. Wrecked Capital, look at the name, says Bitcoin is on the cusp of a potential death cross. Whenever a death cross occurs, Bitcoin experiences deeper downside. How likely is that this death cross occurs for Bitcoin? And even if it does, what should I potentially expect? Let's quickly see if this is a video or it's a post. Here's a thread with my thoughts on the death cross. A bullish golden cross occurs when the 50 EMA, blue, crosses over the 200 EMA, black. So that means that the short term is doing better than the long term. It's basically just, bullish. Golden crosses precede lots of upside in Bitcoin's price, green. A bearish or death cross occurs when the 50 EMA crosses under the 200 EMA, which basically means that over the last 50 days or so, the exponential moving average has been, doing worse than the longer term, which basically means things are going bad. Death crosses are particularly showing the downside. But notice how it takes a significant amount of time for Bitcoin to actually perform a bearish death cross. When Bitcoin peaked in 2013, it took 135 days for the death cross to occur. That's over 4 months. And during those 4 months, Bitcoin dropped 73%. The death cross occurs with some big lag. So by the time it happens, a lot of downside has already happened. And that said, the death cross confirms a bearish trend and precedes even more downside. And in 2013, the death cross preceded an additional 71% drop. In sum, when Bitcoin peaked in 2013, Bitcoin dropped so much in 73% in 135 days until the death cross happened. And when it happened, it also dropped 71% more in the next couple of months. Let's take another couple of periods though. When Bitcoin peaked in 2017, it took 107 days for the death cross to occur. That's 3.5 months. And during those 3.5 months, Bitcoin dropped 70% from the $20,000 peak. Let's move on. Let's quickly see if he said more. Yes, Bitcoin dropped 70% before the death cross actually happened, but once it did happen, Bitcoin saw another minus 65%. The death cross, again, confirmed even more downside. In sum, when Bitcoin peaked in 2017, Bitcoin dropped 70%. Yeah, you guys get it? Let's now take a look at the historical death cross period. Bitcoin peaked in 2019. It took 149 days for the death cross to occur. It took Bitcoin 5 months to perform a death cross, but until that death cross occurred, Bitcoin's price has already dropped 53%. But once it occurred, it dropped another 55%. In sum, when BTC, yeah, you guys get the picture, and Bitcoin potentially is on the cusp of a new one forming. Let's assume it happens though, it doesn't necessarily have to. We need to then address two questions. When could this death cross happen? And how much extra downside could Bitcoin go and see after this? First, let's address the question of when. Well, historically, it tends to do it between 107 and 149 days. If history repeats, it could happen sometime between very late July or early September. Right now, the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA are converging rapidly towards each other, which can be seen here. The blue line is the short term, the black line is the longer term. If the blue line crosses above the black line, basically, it's bullish. If it crosses the other way around, it is bearish. If Bitcoin doesn't increase in price soon and the EMAs continue at the same current pace, the death cross could happen sooner, mid-June of 2021. Now, this is, by the way, a post of yesterday. Let's address the question of how deep could we go. Well, since Bitcoin has crashed about 54% right now since its 65K highs, and before we answer its question of how much downside could happen, let's recall the symmetry in the past death crosses. It's basically a kind of an average same type of decline with pre and post. So right now, the expectation would also be roughly about 54% of a decline after this were to happen, which would result in a $18,000 Bitcoin. And that's actually the end of everything he said right here. The rest is not that important to cover. It's just basically, once more, 18,000 if this were to continue on as a probability, high probability thing. Then guys, let me quickly tell you guys what I've been using to trade right now. So Stex is kind of a platform which as I've stumbled on recently, and basically what it is about is that it's one of the, I'm going to say, upcoming crypto exchanges right now, mostly because it's properly regulated. And when I say that, I mean properly regulated, right? They have everything. You can just see the address, you can see everything, you can see the team, you can see anything. And I like that so much about companies nowadays. And by the way, a lot of people have been wondering why use different exchanges than Binance, for example. Well, first of all, Binance might at one point or another get some sort of really heavy regulation, or in a different sense, they might get some problems with FinCEN or some authority, which hopefully some of these other guys will not have. It's properly regulated, so you can do it. There's a ton more coins very often. I mean, these exchanges, of course, have to do something to get on top, right? So what they usually do is have some very low fees and a lot of pairs. So you, again, just have a lot more room on there. But a couple of other points I would say is just the fact they have so many little things, just so many little small things that make it worth it. For example, here there's a big DeFi realm on top of there, for example, and as I just said, a ton of pairs that you're not going to have on many other different crypto exchanges. But just check it out for yourself, right? I'm gonna maybe leave a link down below. Not exactly sure. It's also easy as AF to put money on there. I'm not exactly sure where that's supposed to be, but it's like any payment provider I've ever had, you can use on there. They have an app, they have everything. It's just an upcoming exchange, you know, and it's worth it sometimes to also diversify your exchanges, or how would you call it? Like, just have different places to make sure that you're always going to be good. I'm going to quickly see here. You can see what type of stuff you can use to put money on there. You guys most likely know in the Netherlands, this is the one we use most often, but it's pretty damn exciting, mostly because, well, it has everything. It has literally got everything. It's properly regulated, ton of freaking pairs. What else do you need in an exchange, man? Go check it out. Link is down below. KYC is required, which I like personally a lot, because if the exchange doesn't have that and it's just open for everybody, like Bybit or so, I mean, it's good because it's easier, but then you're playing a little bit more with things, right? If they're properly regulated and you know they are also being, you know, monitored, basically, it just gives me a lot more confidence. So yeah, that was it for this little integration right there. Good freaking platform, man. I like it a lot. And then Binance calls for actions following multiple flash loan attacks. Also, this little integration here about Binance. Why am I calling things integrations all of a sudden? Articles is what I should call them more. So Binance here, there has been more than 8+ flash loan attacks or hacks recently. We believe and well-organized hackers are targeting the Binance Smart Chain now. It's very challenging time for the BSC community. We are calling for the actions for all the DApps. So what's been happening basically is flash loans. And you, of course, know the DeFi realm, right? And on there, you can, of course, loan money and borrow money. What's been happening is some really big attacks, which is just playing around with money to crash the network or to make things just not work properly anymore. Unofficially, there are reports that attackers have stolen close to $1 billion from the attacks. Binance believes it's a well-organized group of hackers stealing all of this, and it's basically just a lot of activity. And how exactly it works, I don't want to actually say. Are you at risk? Most likely not, because there's, of course, a really big system behind this. You have Binance in the back of things, so there's not really too much to worry about. However, it's always a thing. You know, there's always the risk of losing money in some way, shape, or form, so just be careful. I want to actually end the video here. Guys, it is extremely hot in this room here. If you're wondering why I keep complaining about that, it's also the laptop here that's just fanning just like crazy because of the heat. And I'm talking really freaking hot without AC. That's the problem. It's not that it's, you know, just hot outside and blah, blah, blah. No, the laptop is going so berserk and I'm sweating like crazy because it's too hot in here. I need to fix a better system to get this done, but it's also mentally draining. You know, if it's so extremely hot, you're just busy with staying comfortable instead of doing the proper recording. But yeah, this whole Binance deal is not a big deal. It's not a big problem. However, just keep it in the back here that it's happening. And I'm just sometimes thinking as well, is some sort of regulator going to come and look on this and give it some sanctions or whatnot? Maybe. I'm just thinking about that. Guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video soon.